Hey guys, you ready to get wrenching? I know I am. So today I'm going to show you guys a little bit about gaskets, how to clean them. For example, use RTV or do you want to use a gasket? Velcro is a good brand. You'll definitely need something to clean the surface with. Brake clean works great. Wire brush, oil seals, gloves. You definitely don't want to get any of these chemicals on you. Head gaskets. We're definitely going to cover it all. And this process works for all of these applications. So look, what do we have here? Valve stem seals, intake gaskets, another exhaust gasket, valve cover gaskets. Well, I guess you guys get the picture. Hey guys, thanks for joining me with Nate's Interactive Auto. Today I want to show you guys why gaskets fail and why some products may not be the best choice, but they're worth giving a try. So we'll leave some of those things up to you and how to fix this problem. As you can see, I have an oil catch can, and I noticed that it was leaking around one of the bolts from behind. I started to do a little cleaning and I thought, hey, I need to show these guys this. So this is made by 6-Speed. It's a product from China. I know what you're thinking already. So you're going to need some safety glasses. Yeah, they look like sunglasses, but they're safety glasses. The next thing you're going to need some disposable gloves. You don't want any of these chemicals getting on you. You're going to need some gasket maker and some brake parts cleaner. Or you can use some carb cleaner or something of that nature. So let's go ahead and jump right in. This stuff had some really thick gunk in it, just like this. Still quite a bit left in it. I've given it a little spray trying to clean most of it off. And the bolts I've taken and started, just took the cap, something handy and easy, try to soak the bolts, get any of the previous sealant material off. I could tell they had sealant material. If you look closely at the bolts, you can see looks like a white grayish sealant material. They're just in there soaking. Need something to remove your gasket, so a scraper, wire brush or something. Depending on the material, you need to be very careful. You don't want to apply pressure when using a brush. Not much pressure at all, actually, especially depending on the surface. Now this in particular, this one is made from some sort of high composite plastic material, so you'll need a few rags also. Now we have our gasket material, so we want to try to start getting rid of this stuff. Woo! And there she is. Just come right off. So we'll just set that, move it to the side, and this gasket is actually failed. So after using some brake clean, don't spray this on any electrical components or while smoking or anything of that nature. It's very flammable. Soak it down really well. You can take a Scotch-Brite pad also. Just wipe it down really well. A lot of it should just come right off. If it doesn't, it's time to start scraping. As you can see, most of this for mine is just coming right off. The inside really well. Looks good and clean. Almost looks like somebody tried to put their initials in this thing. Okay, and as you can see, the bolt holes. Now this part doesn't have threads in it, but it's always good to just give it a little spray because you don't want that oil getting on your bolts. This goes with any gasket, from the intake manifold, exhaust manifold, putting a head gasket in. Same principles. Just pay attention to what kind of material you're using to scrape it. You don't want to gouge any of those surfaces, including this one. You don't want to use steel on aluminum. If you're using a scraper like so, you want to make sure the scraper is completely flush. And then as it's completely flush, you want to move forward. Just move forward with your scraper like so. Don't apply a lot of pressure. Make sure you do not gouge it. If you do, you'll destroy the mating surface and there will be no seal. So next thing I want to do is I bring in something soft to give her a good clean. Make sure to get all the oil residue off. You can use acetone, or you can also use the lacquer thinner. It's great for head gaskets and everything also. Help to get that oil residue off. You can see, you can kind of tell when it's good and clean, because basically the hardest part of replacing a head gasket, or should I say the most common failures, well, honestly, it's probably the biggest part of the work also. It's just cleaning it, you know, making sure you got a good clean surface. And using something like this afterward can be a big help to see if you have anything left on the surface that's not clean. As you can see, it's looking good now. So we're good to go. Now that surface is clean, we'll set this to the side. Now while we're in here, like I said, I've seen a lot of gunk. I really don't like that, so I've been spraying off the inside of it. And this wire material is what I've used as a filter of sorts to catch the oil vapor. Last thing you want to happen is finish cleaning only to find out that when you turn it over, oil seeps through and it causes it to get on your mating surface on this side. So instead of unhooking the hoses and everything, because it's not really necessary, I'll just drain it in. You can look at the color of that. It's definitely not clean like brake fluid, or more of a clear color. It's a dark color, so definitely don't want that getting on our gasket material. Oh wow, look at that stuff inside, all that grit. You can see it. Whew. It does look a lot worse from where I'm standing, I can promise you that. So just go ahead and use some more of this brake clean. We'll drain the brake clean once again. Now it's becoming a lot more clear. So it looks like we need to probably do it just one last time. Take your brake clean. Oh yeah, that was a whole lot clearer compared to the other. Definitely better each time. Just gonna give it a good shake there. It'll help get a little bit more off. Okay, we'll set this to the side. Take our rags. Definitely want to make sure that this doesn't get on our car. Just kind of put it under it. And that way it'll use gravity to help us out and drain it off. So just let that sit for a moment there. Cleaning the surface. And before you move on to the bottom surface of that, to clean it, you want to make sure you get your bolts, make sure they're good and clean. So, okay, we have our bolts right here. Now you guys can definitely go back with the same gasket that it had on it, but you'll still have to do all this work. So these bolts look pretty darn clean, to be honest. They have a little bit of gasket material on them. So what I'm going to do is just take this rag, just go around it. Starting to look pretty good. Just a little bit left on it. So it's a little rusty. The wire brush is, as you can tell. It's okay though, we'll spray everything off. That'll break the gasket loose. We'll come back over. Get a good spray. Wipe it off again. A little hard to grab the end of this, so I'm just going to use the actual tool to turn it. Use the driver. Oop, there goes the tool. And as you can see right there, she's good and clean. We're going to do the rest of the bolts the same way. Okay, now you want to lift this guy back over. Wipe it down, as you can see. Try to get what you can off. Okay. Do the sponge test. little bit of dirt left on there still, so let's continue. Alrighty, now she's clean. So make sure that these surfaces are dry before you do this, and you want to apply a continuous 1/16 to 1/4 inch bead of silicone to one surface surrounding all bolt holes. Assembly parts immediately while silicone is still wet. So finger tighten the materials until they begin to squeeze out around the flange. Allow to air dry for 1 hour, retighten 1/4 inch to 1/2 of a turn. Silicone will fully cure 24 hours. Let's get started. Go around all the bolt holes. Up completely straight, and now there's going to be extra excess and it will push itself out. We can clean anything up afterward. Remember, you can clean all this up afterward. Go to the bolts usually opposite. Don't do one side at the same time. They should make a applicator tip for those. I know they do on some, and I have one, but I couldn't find it, and it keeps you from making this big mess. End, similar to a tire, tighten that up snug. Over to this end, we'll go to the opposite end of that, like I said, like a tire. This one, snug. Before this stuff completely dries, you guys want to clean it up. Saturate it really well, like that. That's another reason why I really like those applicators, because you do waste a lot doing it like that. Next thing you want to do, if you have any tools, make sure to spray them off. Okay, what are your tips or tricks? I want you guys to let me know, how do you clean head gaskets or any other gasket mating surfaces off? So let us know in the comments below. We'd really like to hear about it. Now, you give it just 1/4 of an inch turn to 1/2 of a turn. After it's sat for 1 hour, that slipped. There we go. Okay, now in 24 hours it will be fully cured.